Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Buffalo Bridal Podcast. I'm Molly from The Planning Touch. I got Ron from Buffalo Bartenders joining me today, and we are meeting with Chris from Buffaluv Soundz. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How's it going?
Good. Why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about Buffaluv Soundz and what you guys do and how you got started?
Okay, yeah. So there's really two different stories that we're gonna tell to start Buffaluv Soundz. There's the DJ origin story, my DJ origin story of how I became a DJ, and my original path, which is a solo DJ, solopreneur, and then a transition into entrepreneurship, becoming a business owner where I'm overseeing employees and a whole company. And those are two different, distinct journeys. And I'll start with the solopreneurship. I became a DJ in high school. I started off kind of like going to music festivals and going to see live music. I had an older brother who was going to see a lot of music festivals, and I was always really curious as to like what was going on there. But he would never really invite me to go because he knew it was not a good scene to take your little brother to. But eventually there was a lineup of DJs that like really caught my eye, people who I like knew and recognized, and that sparked enough interest for me to grab a couple of my friends and grab our own tickets and go to a festival, which my brother was also at. And that was like completely life-changing. Like everything from that weekend on was music focused. I was like, this is what I want to do from now on. Like I can't believe people get to make a living off of like blasting sound and lights out into the world.
That's what I think about wedding planning. I'm like, I can make a living out of this. Like, it's crazy, but I love doing it.
I'm
so
like,
it's not
look
work.
at all these people who are doing it. So I started actually making music because that was my first interest, was like making music. And I made probably like 50 songs, and I had some like live production where I would make music live. And I created some different avenues for myself that way. And I ended up buying a whole bunch of like sound gear. And that sound gear started getting me different kinds of bookings, running sound for big events for other DJs and event planners in the like electronic and hip hop world. And that created some connections where I met one of Buffalo's biggest club DJs, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he really taught me how to DJ, where I was just making music and then playing the music I was making out to people, and then supplying a sound system for other DJs was like what I was doing at first. And he taught me how to like use turntables and mix music together. So take one song and blend it with another song, and the actual art of mixing on vinyl turntables. Yeah. And I did that for got to be like 3 years under his wing, and he got me into all the biggest clubs. And by the time I was done with him, I had 7 nights a week residencies everywhere in Buffalo, and I did that for a while, and I kind of started to get bored of it, and started to switch towards like the big concert venue style and share the stage with like the big bands and like acts coming in from out of town and play set break for those like bigger concert crowds, 3,000 people, 5,000 people crowds. That was my focus for a little while. And while that was happening, I started to do weddings. People started to just like ask me to do weddings, and they saw me as a DJ. They didn't know the difference between like a concert DJ and a wedding DJ.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand what goes into being a wedding DJ. So there's like, DJ, go do it.
Right.
Well, so I got my feet wet, and looking back, like I did horribly, but you have to start somewhere.
You do have to start
My
somewhere.
MC skills were less than lackluster, but I could always get a dance floor going. So I made up for it on the back end, like rocking out, and everyone had a great time there. But my soundscape for ceremonies was not professional level. My MC skills and coordination were not professional level. So then I'll just kind of tie the two stories together. I'll take the whole journey from story 1 to story 2 and the pieces in between. I was doing private events then, like stopping my focus so much on the concerts and starting to focus on private events. And I was doing a New Year's party, and I came out of the party after it was over, and another DJ was in the other banquet room and was like, "Man, you really had them moving in there. But like, we need to get you doing some weddings. Once you get you doing some weddings, you'll be in the big leagues." And this guy also happened to be my high school gym teacher, so I knew him a little bit. So he takes me under his wing. He had a very successful DJ company at the time. He had been in the business 30 years. He's retired now. And he showed me kind of like the old school traditional style of DJing, like getting everybody in the whole room clapping, like stuff you don't see nowadays, pair and split, like get all the guys on this side, girls on that side, meet in the middle, strut down the line, get pictures of them strutting down. Yeah. He taught me all these like old school DJ techniques that I bust out when the time is right, but not at every wedding.
Right.
But he was my first wedding mentor. So I have a club mentor, now I've had a wedding mentor, and these two DJs were very paramount to my growth. Now, the next mentor I had, I don't know if he'll want me to list his name, but I'm just gonna,
you don't have to.
I'm just going to say, I think he'll actually be flattered. So my next mentor was Jeff Toy. And I was a Toy Brothers DJ for a few years. And basically, I learned so much working with Jeff, and he might not even realize how much I learned working with him and what to do, what not to do. And he definitely took me under his wing and showed me a ton, particularly about just like MC confidence and like how to present myself as a DJ and being the energy of the whole entire celebration, not just the dance floor.
Yeah.
And he really taught me the professionalism in that and the connections in the industry to always, if I'm done setting up my DJ gear, like go help out the event staff, go help out a photographer, go help somebody out, make the company look better.
Right.
I always thought like, okay, when I build my company, like that's something I'm going to do because like that makes the difference. You
it
know?
does.
And
it does
if
make a huge
all
difference.
of your employees are doing that, that's culture right there.
For sure.
So, you know, he taught me a lot about culture. He taught me a lot about confidence and presence. So Jeff was my next mentor, and he kind of picked me up at a weird point in my life. My brother had just passed away, and he knew that I was down in the dumps. Someone had told him about what was going on with me, and he reached out to me and said, like, hey, I heard what's going on with you. I know your brother passed away. I know you've kind of like stopped DJing right now, and I want to give you this opportunity to come work with me. So I came and I did a couple seasons with Jeff, and it really gave me my confidence and my wings, and I thank him every time I see him
that's really nice
for that. And after a couple seasons with Jeff, it was time for me to like kind of go on my own. And that was when Buffaluv like really became its own company, but it still wasn't there yet. I was doing well, like 20, 30 weddings a year, but nothing crazy. And then COVID came. Yeah. And that like swept me out. Like I was going basically as like a one leg stool.
Yeah.
And it was up, but it was like then COVID kicked that leg out, and I had no legs on my stool left. You know, because when I say one leg stool, my only way that couples were finding me was by referral. So they were coming. That was my one way couples came in, was that one leg. And you know, business mind wise, if you have a stool with 10 legs, if couples are coming in from Google and they're coming in from referrals from vendors, referrals from other couples, you know, referrals from venues, bridal shows, you know, social media, those are all different legs to your stool to keep you strong.
Right.
And I didn't have all those legs going into COVID, so coming out, I learned how to build those legs, but it was really a crazy process. So I had no wedding bookings. I had like 5 through one of the worst years of COVID, and I had 4 kids. So my family is used to like all this money coming in from my DJ, you know, journey, and it's not there at all.
COVID was a rough year for everybody.
So I started working construction with my father-in-law. He did commercial construction, and that was like, I was doing all right, but I was doing horrible at the construction. I was like destroying things, costing him money, costing him time. It wasn't your niche. Yeah. He's getting mad at me. I'm getting mad at him. I'm like, I'm working so hard. He's in the back of his head. He's not telling me. He's like, but you suck. You know? And I'm like, so eventually we just both decide like, I got to stop doing that.
Yeah, that's not working.
And I find my daughter's also like a top-ranked gymnastics.
How old is she?
She's 14.
Okay.
So at the time she was, I think, 12 or 13, and she was like a very high ranked, going to nationals every year in gymnastics. I think she placed like 12 or 16 in nationals, so pretty well up there. And she was starting to have some head issues, like psychological issues too, like not believing in herself. So I was trying to help her, and I found the best way I could help her is to just inspire her, to just be inspiring, create my own inspiring story for her to watch in real time. And by my activation actually came from watching a seminar that my wife put me on to. She knew I was depressed because I was like down in a funk because I'm not providing for my family the way I want to. So she's like, hey, you know, Matthew McConaughey's doing this like 5-day seminar. And I'm watching the seminar, like folding laundry, you know, taking care of my little kids because I've got the little kids. And the lady talking is like, if you're just passively watching, you might as well just turn this off.
That's what she said?
And I just stopped folding right there. This was like my life-changing moment.
This would caught your attention.
My life-changing moment. I'm like, should I just turn this off or should I stop folding? She's like, you should grab a pen and paper and start writing down notes or just turn it off. And I'm like, okay. Grab my pen and paper. I start writing down notes. My life's never been the same since. So basically, like what I found there is I've got these 4 kids, and if I want to give them the best life possible, I have to build myself into someone who can do that. Not to like pour from an empty cup and like, okay, gave you everything I have. Okay, gave you everything I have. Okay, gave you everything I have. To build myself into someone who can like, here's something. Here's something. I got as much as you need. Here's something. Here's something. As much as you need. Not just financially, but spiritually, health-wise, psychologically, just all of it. So that was the beginning of my personal journey, which then became my business journey, and I attached myself into the business and like made my whole connection to Buffaluv Soundz like this new, give myself to the impact of everything I do. So now my philosophy is every interaction I have, which right now hopefully I'm giving a good impression on you guys, every interaction I have is an opportunity to change lives.
Yeah.
Whether big or small.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's the new approach. And that's what I built Buffaluv Soundz on. The new version coming out of COVID is just swing for impact. That's the money will all take care of itself. Just try to change lives every way you can, and you'll become valuable to everyone you meet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing the right thing and put your heart and soul into everything you're doing,
You stack the little
financially,
pieces.
it's all going to figure itself out.
Exactly.
So,
Everything's made of little pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like if I just keep putting all my little pieces together, everything will work out the way I want it to, or a way that I appreciate. Not necessarily the way I'm designing, but I mean, you can design your future for the most part.
yeah.
So when couples come to you looking for a DJ, what is the whole process that you kind of from start to finish for booking you? How do you go about that, and how do you work with the couple?
Okay. Do you want me to start with my sales pitch or the process of booking?
Process of booking.
Okay, the process of booking. Typically, most of my couples come in through like a virtual platform. So they'll come in through email, or they'll come in through my website, or they'll come in like digitally, and I will link them into one of my like automated messages, which will pretty much forward them to set up a consultation with me. After they set up a consultation with me, they'll be sent another message. That message will be giving them their consultation prep homework, which I have a 17-minute video that really outlines how I am different and the brand that I created is different, and the DJs then who adhere to the brand.
And they see this
are also
before the
different.
consultation?
Yes.
Got it.
This way the consultation is about them and not about what we do, and it's not an interrogation of our services, it's a connection.
Yeah, they already saw that aspect
Yeah, they
in the
know
video.
how we do what we do, and they're more like, we want you at our wedding, and this is what we want you to do, not, hey, can you do this, can you do that, can you do this? It really just changes the whole format of the discussion. And I created that video to be engaging and funny and like an experience, not 17 minutes of dry content. Because I tried it at first, it was 17 minutes of dry content. Here's our speakers, here's our planner, this is how we DJ.
The stuff that people don't really necessarily care too much about.
Yeah, so now it's, grab a glass of wine, sit back, close your eyes, imagine this, paint a picture for them, take them through a whole experience for that 17 minutes, so that way that's the same kind of experience you're going to get when you have a professional MC.
Right.
So that's part of what makes our sales, pitch different and our whole booking process different. Then the next part is to get the consult done, and then during the consult we kind of let them know some of the exclusive promos that we have through our network, looking up all these different statistics about wedding DJs. And I found that they're absolutely crazy. Like the major statistic I found was a poll from, I think it was National Bridal Service, and it was also like followed up with by Wedding Wire, The Knot, USA Today, and another major like bridal outlet. And it said that 99% of couples regret not investing more in entertainment, and that 80% of guests, vendors, and couples, vendors, guests, and couples say that 80% of the wedding's impact is on the DJ.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
So then I'm adding those two together. I'm saying, all right, so 99% of couples wish they invested more in entertainment, which represents 80% of the impact of their event. So they wish they invested more in the biggest part of their wedding. So there's like a major disconnect of like what couples think is important. So then I started digging deeper, and it says 80% of couples are going into their wedding thinking DJ last and booking like dress, food, things like favors, all that stuff first before the DJ. And I'm watching our brides change out of their dress into a romper, throw their favors, their flowers, their centerpieces in the trash, and skip out on photo booth, skip out on lighting, skip out on audio guest book, when they could get audio guest book and have a message from their grandma who's, you know, knock on wood, going to die 10 years after their wedding, and have that message for a lifetime. But they valued favors that they threw in the trash.
Yeah, so you offer like more entertaining and interactive likeness of the guests to keep them going and keep the party going.
I offer a resource to educate couples in all these statistics where I'm finding these are where a massive amount of couples are making mistakes planning. Because after the event is over, 80% of couples say they would have booked their DJ first.
Yeah.
So these 80% that booked their DJ last regret that and wish they booked their DJ first. So that's a major disconnect there in itself.
I know, like, my wife was so adamant about our DJ and being like, okay, if people aren't on the dance floor and having a good time, like, what is the point of this?
That's the whole point of it, is to bring them out and have a good time on the dance floor.
DJ and food is everything. And if they're not dancing crowd too, you need to get a good MC, someone who can entertain and string the night along and kind of keep everyone engaged, even without having a loaded dance floor with different activities that are scheduled.
Right. Like the photo booth, that's always a good one. It keeps people engaged, going, and they can leave with, you know, a bunch of photos at the end of the night.
Exactly.
All right, so why don't you tell us what's like one of the songs that gets people to the dance floor that you usually play?
Ooh.
Yeah.
What gets
I love this answer because every DJ that we've talked to has a different answer.
It's for me, it's a different song every night.
Is it? Because like I feel like some DJs will play the same song.
It's really about the crowd.
It is, though.
Like,
it is.
And every crowd's a little different.
Yeah.
I could play for the same crowd 3 nights in a row, and they might be feeling different every night. What they are vibing to on Friday might not be what they're vibing to on Sunday.
Right.
So I prime them. So like cocktail is a primer.
Yeah.
So like you're getting a little bit of a more upbeat cocktail from us. Dinner we're taking it down tempo, but cocktail we try to keep upbeat just because it sets the tone.
And you guys can kind of figure out what kind of crowd you're dealing with type thing.
And if they're like kind of older crowd, I know that like what we're working with tonight is a more traditional style set list.
Right.
And if they're a younger crowd, I know we're working with a more club style set list. And I have a whole bunch of content out about different kinds of DJs, and I train all of our DJs to be hybrid, but there's club DJs and there's traditional DJs. And club DJs are more high energy, dance floor focused, hype, not so much mic presence style.
Right.
And then the traditional style is play your song from end to end, strong mic presence, strong MC presence, you know, very good song selection for a wide age group, like you know what grandma wants to hear, and some songs that the younger DJs just don't know.
Right.
So that's the traditional style. Now I try to have our traditional style DJs teaching our younger DJs, and our younger DJs teaching our older DJs with our culture that we've built here, so that we're giving the best of both worlds at every wedding.
Yeah, so much has changed. You know, there's some stuff from back then that are, you know, still relevant today.
But there's always the favorites from
which
both.
Songs, which songs are the favorites? Well, it's hard to say. I mean, some weddings, like, you're going to play Usher, and it's like the best song ever. And some songs it's like, oh, that's old. And some songs it's like, don't play any hip hop, some weddings. So it's hard to say which one is my go-to because
it's different every
time. But I would say one of our biggest songs that we've played this year is probably Hot to Go, and then also Mr. Brightside. Those are probably
Mr. Brightside because of the Bills.
bringing it back around
Yep,
again
yep.
on a bigger scale.
Well, Mr. Brightside has probably been one of the fan favorites the last few years as like an end of the night song. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like one that we play early on, but just typically I see the crowd gets going the most for that. One of my favorites to play is probably Hotel Room Service Pitbull.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I just feel like it gets people going. They don't realize it's their favorite. Till
They probably just haven't heard it in a while.
It's also like, you know, some of those songs have been on the radio so much over the last 10 or 15 years
Yep.
that even grandma might have heard it
Yeah.
at some point,
Yep.
and she knows the beat,
Yep.
and she
Yeah,
might move
because
a
they
little
do
bit. Or-
overplay those songs on
Well,
the
and
radio.
one of the things that we try to do to get grandma into it is like what I say to the DJs and what I hold to myself is Butler vibes, and every detail elevates every moment. And I mentioned earlier stacking little pieces, and that creates an atmosphere. And when you stack little pieces from the ceremony through cocktail, through dinner, by the time the dance floor is opened up, people are feeling like this night's magical because you just keep stacking
Right.
and stacking those little tiny detailed experiences for them that they are in a different mindset. And people who wouldn't usually dance are out on the dance floor dancing. And that's like one of my favorite reviews that we get, and it's probably one of the coolest things to hear is that like people are out there dancing who don't normally
Right.
dance. Like I've never seen my grandma
like, you
dance
got him out
before.
there.
You got cousin Larry out there. He looked like an idiot.
But you got him out there.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and so those are the things I try to like highlight for couples too when they're like interested in booking us, of what you get from premium entertainment versus what you get from just a checklist DJ. That's
Right.
why I call him a checklist DJ. Someone who's, you know, no offense to them, because I was one at one point, someone who's competing at the bottom of the barrel for the cheapest price, because you feel like if you don't give a cheaper price, someone else is going to take that event from you with a cheaper price. And that was really also, as I mentioned earlier, about the difference in branding and becoming Buffaluv Soundz was not being a price DJ anymore, and my couples being my true couples. They booked me because they couldn't imagine their wedding without us, without me, without Buffaluv Soundz at the helm of their event. Versus, you know, this DJ was the right fit for our budget. We've booked everything else, and all we've got left is a DJ, and now he's $800. We'll book him. You know, so
Right.
there's two different
I've
vibes
seen
there.
enough of that in my day.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone complains about, you know, why DJs are such make or breaks, because they're thought of last, and then they're booked on the budget, and then someone, you know, under experienced and
Yeah.
underqualified
Right.
ends up running your whole entire event, and it just, you know, you've invested so much in
Right.
it. And I think that's where things really like fall on these DJs, are like kind of get a bad name. It's just a lot on them, and I think that every DJ has their place in their development, but you just can't say yes to a big event like
Right.
that until you're ready.
Well, I think anyone that wants to get into the DJ industry needs to work under somebody
Yeah.
where maybe the first 2 years you're not even really at the helm
That's
of
it
anything,
right
right?
there.
Like
That's
you're
it right
working with
there.
some experience, you're watching what they're doing, you're paying attention to how they got the crowd moving and grooving and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whereas,
And that's really how I got to where I am. Is I wouldn't have been able to do it without my mentors. And I even have a fourth mentor now who I look to for a lot of this business advice, and a lot of this networking and business strategy stuff I've mentioned earlier comes from him.
Right. What other than DJing, you mentioned an auto book and photo booth. What other options do couples have to add on other than just DJ?
Okay, so we've got DJ, photo booth, uplighting, marquee love letters, dancing on the clouds, monogram projection.
Dancing on the Clouds. What's that?
So dancing on the clouds is really kind of cool. It's a dry ice effect, and
Oh, for like the
so
ground.
like
Yeah.
low laying smoke
Gotcha.
essentially.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We ran a test in here, and after we ran the test, now Bridget doesn't allow dancing on the clouds in this actual venue, just because her particular floor gets a little bit slick.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
we've run it
yeah.
on a lot of different surfaces, but this particular surface with her like varnish got a little bit slick, and it was only slick for about 2 minutes before it dissipates, but it's just not something you want with hundreds of people walking around.
Yeah, that's a liability.
So really with the dancing on the clouds, we've been doing more testing with it, like for couples who want to book it. We go to the venue and test it ahead of time just to make sure that the airflow is proper, that the floor is not slippery.
Right.
And then once it's tested, then we can promote that we use it at that venue.
Got it.
But it's a pretty much a little bit of like a science experiment when we're feeling it out, and we don't want to like come to an event and charge someone
Right.
for a service and then give them a lackluster service and then have to give them their money back.
And then you're just setting yourself for a bad review
It's
at
just,
the same
yeah,
time.
it's just
for
a
no
bad
reason.
taste. Even if we give them their money back, it's just a bad taste,
Right.
you know. So, and it's not the service we want to put out. So, you know, I just like I'll go to a venue and meet with a couple and do on-site logistics and talk. You know, this is where your grand entrance is going to be. This, we'll do the same thing with special effects just to make sure that those things are going to work properly as well. So yeah, Dancing on the Clouds
Cool.
is like a dry ice effect. You drop frozen CO2 into hot water, and it shoots out like low-level fog on the dance floor.
Cool. Yeah. Now that you say that, I guess I never had it. I heard of it worded that way.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Anything else?
I'm sure there's a couple more that I forgot.
And these are just add-ons to
Yeah.
like the DJ package.
One of the things that I do that's specific to us is I really vamp up the photo booth setup. So with them being open air booths, it's kind of like a whole experience that I try to create. Just like we try to create a whole experience on the DJ side of things, we look at it as more than just the wedding day. The whole excitement leading up to the wedding is part of the experience. Booking should be exciting. Planning should be exciting. All of it should be exciting. So the same thing with the photo booth. We try to kind of keep that same level of commitment to service and experience that we have in the DJ service through everything that we do. And it goes into the photo booth, the way we set it up, the attention to detail. It's kind of a pain in the ass because we have to bring some extra stuff to the
Do you have to bring an
events.
attendant for the photo booth usually?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes we'll duel, like, I usually like to bring an assistant with me for DJ too.
It's nice to
And
have
not that
extra
I-
hands.
Yeah, not that I need one, just it's a long season.
Yeah,
And just
no,
so
I
that
get
my
it.
couples in October get the same, you know, DJ mo that the couples in June are getting.
Yep.
And I'm not just like, get me out of here, get me out of here. So like the extra hands kind of, it prevents the burnout.
Right. Yeah.
So with the photo booth, are they able to rent the photo booth and like the audio guest books without the DJ service,
Yes.
or is it all one?
Yeah, and so that's where my lovely fiance comes into play. Is like she'll help me kind of run that side of the business. If I am out and we have like a photo booth only event, you know, she could go take that on for us. I've also got some photo booth attendants, but usually if it's like a package deal with photo booth, I would send her. If
Okay.
it's like a no DJ, but like there's some lighting and there's audio guest book, because we've had a couple of couples who have wanted to do things like that, where they had their DJ who's maybe their cousin or a family friend or whatever, but they really like our brand and everything that we offer in terms of being like a one-stop shop. So they want to book us for photo booth, audio guest book, for lighting, you know, some different special effects, and we'll bundle that together. And she'll
nice.
oversee that while I go oversee, you know, DJ
Right.
operations.
So where can people find out about you and get all your information and that kind of thing?
We are on every platform. So we have a Google listing, we've got Facebook listing, Instagram, TikTok, and a ton of video content on YouTube. YouTube being so useful for pretty much when you want to upload videos online. If you want to like upload them onto a platform, you have to upload the whole video. But once you upload that video onto YouTube, you're just sharing links, and you can just upload that video one time, and then use the YouTube link to kind of be a home for it.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much of a search engine YouTube really is. I
Yes.
mean, they're so comparable to Google these days when you're looking for
Anything,
anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
anything. How to fix something. How to
I
do
use YouTube
anything.
almost every day of my life.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It really is. So because YouTube's such a great tool, I've actually put a lot of time into our YouTube channel, and I don't think a lot of vendors realize how useful YouTube is, because, you know, like for instance, for you vendors out there,
Yeah, see, YouTube, I'm not really on a lot, to be honest. So
I'll walk you through our process for when we meet a couple at a bridal show.
okay.
So, as I said before, like we meet and we'll send out emails and automations, right? So say you met us at Cary Lake last week in Rochester. You would sign up on our sign-up sheet or go through my QR sign-up. And if you went through the QR, then thank you, because then I don't have to do anything extra. If you went through the sign-up sheet, then that's okay. My mom's actually at home putting those into the iPad right now.
Probably going to get an email soon.
Yeah, so
Do you, what are some weather, I don't know why I'm saying weather. What are some music trends that you're seeing like newer this year?
one of the trends that I've gone with, first of all, Chapel Roan was like probably she was like the trend of the year. I would say like her stuff was definitely it. Multiple songs from her were like at the forefront of the request list, but still a lot of the same classics.
Right.
But what I've been really doing that's been having like a ton of success, and that couples and guests alike have really been into, and DJs, if you're watching, good luck copying. You're gonna have to find all my music, which I'll share some if you hit me up. But basically, I find these really killer remixes, very tastefully done. Now, when I first became a DJ, as I told you before, I had a great club DJ mentor, and my brother, who I also mentioned earlier, who was going to the music festivals. He didn't just go to music festivals, he like toured the world DJ circuit. So he listened to like the best of the best in the world, Spain, Ibiza, like all around. And he would go to those places and then bring what he knew about it back to his younger brother, who is a DJ.
Yeah.
And so I learned a ton about like what those DJs are doing to create, the best stages in the world. And basically, when you're not making your own music, you have to be the best music hunter. And as much as we're playing at weddings music that people know, we want to play a little portion of it that they don't. And that's what makes the DJ unique, and that's the artistic part of it, and the way we put it together also. So what I've been really leaning on is the first hour or so of open dance. Typically we play wedding favorites. And I've reinvented how to do that with playing remixes. And not like techno, like crazy, meow, 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 meow. We're not like at the car factory, making a new vehicle at the Ford stamping plant, because you know how electronic can get like that. This is more the sound of the new generation.
Okay. Yeah.
In terms of drums, not so much instrumentally, with the songs of the old generation put together. So the younger generation is like, I feel this, like this is vibey, and like I want to dance. And the older generation's like, okay, like this is different, but I know this.
But I can tolerate this.
I know this. Yeah, like I know this. I know these words. I know this song. Like it's
like
very recognizable, but like the drums are not those old analog drums. They're the new digital drums that, like the new 808s, the new synthetic drums that the younger generation feels. The new claps and snares, and not just that old snare.
Right.
And that's what the younger crowd likes. And not so much which song is on is what I'm finding. They just like the feel of that like dance party.
But that's where my job comes in, because I get them a little lubed up.
A little.
In the process. Well, we're not talking about your wedding, for everybody in my life. But yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is huge, because sometimes it's just not the right time. And I have to wait until the time is right. And you don't want to like throw out your best tracks when you know everyone's not lubed up yet.
Right. Right. You want to get them at their best.
Yeah, you want to save the good stuff for when the time is right. And like we often are saving certain songs for like, I know that the bride loves this song, and I'm not gonna play. Right. I'm not gonna dare to play it until she's like out here and like set to be out here.
Right, because they get lost. They're taken everywhere. It's hard to get them on the dance floor sometimes.
Exactly, and even when you do get them on, like the first 2 or 3 times, they get pulled off.
Yeah. People are leaving. Say goodbye. Let's get a photo. The photographer needs sunset. Like
the last
they're
hour
pulled
and
everywhere.
a half is when they're finally like there,
settling
and
in.
comfortable.
Yeah, they're not going to get pulled. All that stuff's done. Now they can just have a good time.
That there's like some songs that they didn't want to hear in front of their grandma.
Right, and grandma probably left at this point.
And now it's safe, Right. So like there's that whole aspect of it, like keep it a certain vibe until family's out of here, and like have the right song selection to like indicate to family like, hey, it's time to go, before it's time to go.
Right.
And then they start to take the hint, like, okay, he hasn't played a slow song in the last 45 minutes, like maybe it's time to get our coats.
Do you play a lot of slow songs? Because I've noticed there's not normally a ton of slow songs played.
I'll crush it with slow songs because I'm not afraid to pick my dance floor back up. Like I can move from my older crowd to my younger crowd very quickly, and I'm not afraid of it. And I think a lot of DJs are afraid, like I'm gonna play a slow song and I'm not gonna be able to get my momentum back.
Right.
And there's like, as you mentioned before, like which songs are your go-to songs, and there's different go-to songs for different go-to situations.
Right.
And like we definitely want to save a couple of our like great dance floor fillers to like bring everyone back out on the floor after a slow song, because sometimes you've got 10 people on the floor, you know, and then you play a slow song and you've got 30 people on the floor.
Right.
And now you're like, where do I go?
Well, and I feel like that's why a lot of slow songs aren't played, because it's harder to get people back on the dance floor after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I feel like I only hear like 2 or 3 slow songs during the entire wedding.
I usually won't do more than 3, but I will like make them done well.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes they're quick.
placed.
They make them quick.
Yeah, I try to place them perfect. I try to make the lighting good. I'll cut off all like the dance floor lighting for the slow songs. I'll try to make them done well so that the older couples, family members, like really want to come out and enjoy the whole slow dance. And then when we come out of it, I'm not afraid to like invite people back out on the floor.
Right. Good.
And use my MC skills. The way I tell our DJs, the guys who work for me, is you've got a tool bag, you know, and like you're not going to go and use your drill on your toilet. But like, you know, but like you're going to use your MC skills when the time is right. You're going to use your DJ skills when the time is right. We know how to scratch, but we're not coming to weddings to scratch because it's not the right tool for the job.
Right.
Oh, I've seen that at a couple of weddings, and I'm like, "What are you doing right now?"
Yeah,
Like,
I can
and
scratch.
maybe the bride and groom are into that, and that's cool
if
to some
there's
level.
scratching
But
at a wedding, the only time scratching is ever allowed at a wedding is if the bride is doing it. That's my rule.
Yeah,
Get
for
it
sure.
out of here. You know?
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. So I think we're gonna wrap things up.
yeah,
All right.
Awesome, guys.
all right, have a good one.
Nice chatting.
Thank you.
All right.